Sorry we got cut off there, Nabeel. So yeah, you were talking about the Kitab al-Umm, Imam Shafi, what to do about the had punishment for living in a non-Muslim land. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so as I was saying, if you go into Kitab like don't ask me, oh, where's your source? I'm not your Google. Go if you can't even read Arabic, then there's even no point in you asking me for a source. But okay, the point is that if you look inside Kitab there's a discussion about establishing the Had. If you're in the non-Muslim land, or if you're in a Muslim land and you're sure that the Muslim ruler is not going to establish it. And the upshot of it is that yes, it's permissible. Okay, and nobody talks about this because it's probably not. I haven't heard anybody talk about this. I haven't even heard like Shafi scholars talking about this. One, probably because it's not relevant to the world we live in now, or two, because it's probably not the relied upon opinion on the madhab. But this discussion is there, right? And so, if I was a Muslim in the UK, you know, um, we like this is what we were discussing. We're discussing the grooming gangs in the UK, right? Like like there needs to be like some serious soul searching, serious consequences for these in the community for these kinds of people. At the very least, right? At the very least, if you're not willing to do what's necessary, at the very least, report them to the authorities as soon as you like. It should have been like an instant report kind of thing. Like as soon as somebody heard about it from our community. Now, a lot of people would say that it's snitching, but I refer you back to the verse that I mentioned earlier, Surah An-Nisa, verse 135. Be like stand up for justice, even if it's against your own selves.
Yeah, even Salafis. I know I don't consider myself a Salafi, but Salafis are telling me that, referring me to Islam QA, that it's perfectly permissible, and in fact, an obligation for Muslims if there's Muslims committing horrible crimes, to report them to the authorities. So I don't know why this kind of omerta, like snitches get stitches kind of mentality is. And again, we're not in the UK, like and that's the other thing I wanted to talk about, Nabil, is this kind of internationalization of the Dawa. Like most of these YouTube accounts are in the UK, and that's fine for the UK, but Canada and the United States are in very different situations than the UK. So, like I
Even
think,
if even if we're not in the UK, like this is a stain on all of us, bro. Wherever you live in the world, like I said, even one case is too many,
yeah,
and it doesn't matter what country it is in. Um, and it's not like this doesn't happen in the Muslim countries. It also happens in the Muslim countries as well. Um, but I mean, there's this there's this other point that we should mention, which is going to be very funny because anybody who clips this, um, it's gonna yeah they'll if lynching was permissible, they would lynch us. Okay, so I asked Grok, okay, what percentage of marriages of Asian British in the UK are between first or second cousins? And the answer from Grok is among the British Pakistani community, a significant portion of marriages involve first or second cousins. Earlier studies from the 2000s suggested that around 55% of British Pakistanis marry first cousins. However, more recent data indicates this rate is decreasing. For instance, in Bradford, one of the largest Pakistani communities in the UK, the rate of cousin marriages dropped from about 62% in the 2000s to 46% in a more recent follow-up study between 2016 and 2019. So there's something like don't shoot the messenger for noticing, right? Over half, according to newer studies, up to half, like around half of British Muslims are inbred. Right? You think they just one generation of Pakistanis married their first cousin and they stopped? Oh, it's going to keep going on. It's like their tradition, right? So so half of all British Muslims are inbred, and um, there is something there. So maybe that's why the British Muslims are the way they are, right? And the other thing that I want to mention that many people don't know is that the vast majority of British Pakistanis, so the vast majority of British Muslims in that sense, are from one region in Pakistan called Mirpur. And I asked Grok this as well, even though I knew the answer before. I know this because I know a lot of Muslim Twitter accounts that are in the UK. So I asked Grok, what percentage of Asian British in the UK are from Mirpur in Pakistan? Based on the available information, approximately 60 to 70% of British Pakistanis, 60 to 70% of British Pakistanis in England trace their origins to the Mirpur district in Azad Kashmir in Pakistan. So half of all British Muslims or British Pakistanis are inbred, and 60 to 70% of them are all from the same region in Pakistan. So they're like two-thirds of them are from the same region as Pakistan, and half of those two-thirds are inbred, right? So what does that do to like a community in terms of their their IQ, their their culture, their ability to be social, like civil members of society and not be antisocial, et cetera, et cetera. But again, like I said, I'm just noticing things. Don't shoot the messenger. There needs to be some sort of conversation about this as well. And I mean, they're gonna call if somebody clips this, they're gonna call me racist. They're gonna call me, I don't know, all kinds of different names. And there's gonna be major debates about the permissibility of first cousin marriage, et cetera, how it's halal and it's okay and it's not that big of a deal. Um, but they won't change the fact that like most of these people are inbred, and that has its own antisocial effects.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, thanks for bringing that to light, Nabeel. Um, I'm probably going to get
They
canceled myself, but I don't care.
caught you with a curveball there, huh?
Yes, you did.
You're welcome to edit this out if you feel it's not relevant to the conversation. It's just a point I wanted to bring up. I thought it was funny.
I mean, I only have 2,300 subscribers. I mean, I'll take the heat if it means, I'll get 50,000 more from this. But, just to, you know, give some consolation. I mean, even Dilly said that, like in his interview with Nick Griffin, he said that, he and his crew would, actually go after grooming gangs. So he was against those types of behavior. So we should give her credit where it's due. I think Dilly has actually matured a lot. So if, inshallah that continues, but it remains to be seen if the rest of the duats are gonna kind of have a more nuanced approach to the Dawa scene and on X. But that's like you said, we can't do much about that. I really enjoyed your takes on what your best advice is for converts. Yeah, I mean, I think this was a really fruitful interview, Nabeel. I'm glad we got around to doing it. Is there anything else you wanted to plug, like your businesses or any general advice you had for white converts before we go?
Yeah, I'll just repeat my advice from before. Stay out of Dawa. Just stick to learning your religion and implementing it. But before we go, can we do like a quick Norm Macdonald joke from one of my tweets?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So there's this Norm Macdonald bit. Okay, I just repurposed it for this Rotherham thing, right? So the tweet says, "There's widespread agreement among Muslims on X that the worst part of grooming gangs trending is the hypocrisy, and I disagree. I think it's the raping."
Yeah, that was a Norm Macdonald joke, I think, but the context was different.
Yeah, so the context was Bill Cosby.
Oh, okay, I see. My favorite Norm Macdonald's joke is when he was on SNL. He said, "In at number one on the college rock charts this week, better than Ezra. In at number two, Ezra."
Yeah, so he has this thing where he's like the best joke is one where the setup and punchline are the exact same thing. So that it's like economy of words where he doesn't have to come up with more words than necessary. So he does that a lot. A lot of his jokes are like that.
Yes, yes, he was very based. He will be, missed as a comedian. My father is actually a stand-up comedian, Nabeel, so I come from a comedy family,
I
and
remember. I remember.
yes, yes, yes. So Norm, was always, one of our favorites. So anyway, very fruitful interview. Thank you so much for being on the show, Nabeel. Please sub to Nabeel's X. What's your handle on X, Nabeel?
It's long. It's Nabeel Azeez DXB. You can just put the link in the description.
I
It'll be too long to spell out.
No problem. I will do so. Wonderful. All right, that's enough for me for Islam for Europeans. I'm your host, Robert. Thank you, Nabeel, for being on the show. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.